Hi, I'm going to show everyone how to install this Raspberry Pi 4 case from Smraza. So I open up a case and I find an instruction booklet, a case, a power supply, a cooling fan, and heat sinks. And also find plastic foot pads for this case as well. And also there's a support. The support is in China. The phone number is in China, but I've emailed them and their email support is very good as well. The, the installation steps are also very good too because it goes step by step with diagrams here on how to install it. And also there's a diagram here on where to plug in the fan. Okay. Okay, so now I start taking the screws off of the case one by one. Okay, and then I take the plastic peel off the base of the case. Okay, and I lay it down. And now take each plastic layer and put it on top of each other in sequence like this. Now, according to the instructions, the fourth step I should put in the Raspberry Pi. So now I put the Raspberry Pi in place here. Just make sure it's in place correctly. Okay, now I start putting on the other plastic layer. This is an important plastic layer because it has square holes on it, and the square holes fit over the ICs on the Raspberry Pi. So, okay, I make sure that it's aligned. Just making sure it's aligned properly. And now I can start putting on the heat sinks. So with the heat sinks, there are 4 heat sinks that come along with it. They vary in sizes, and you can see which heat sink fit which IC by the size of the heat sink. Okay, so I chose to put on the heat sink close to the USB ports first. The heat sinks have to go through the square holes on the plastic layer and touch the surface of the IC. Okay, so you got to make sure that there's contact with the IC because that's an important role that the heat sinks play is to dissipate the heat from the ICs. Okay, and then now I put in the last heat sink. Okay, now I can start putting on the other layers one by one. Just make sure they're aligned properly. And now I come to the top of the case. The top of the case comes with a plastic peel over it. So all I do is just peel that layer off and just put it in line with the other layers. Now notice that this top layer has a hole in it. That's for the cooling fan. So with the cooling fan I have here, I can start putting the cooling fan on. Now the cooling fan has a sticker on it. Make sure the sticker is facing towards the Raspberry Pi unit and start putting the screws in to fasten the cooling fan onto the top of the case. Now I put on the cooling fan. When the cooling fan is fastened to the bottom of the cover, the sticker will face towards the Raspberry Pi unit. that means that air is blowing towards the unit. I have heard that some people prefer to blow it away from the unit. It's just a matter of personal preference. So note, I have placed the Raspberry Pi so that the GPIO pins are facing towards me. The bottom row of the GPIO pins should be facing towards me. There are wire leads from the cooling fan that are colored red and black, with the bottom of the GPIO pins facing you. Make sure that the red lead goes to the GPIO pin on the bottom row on the second pin from the right, and the black wire lead goes to the third pin from the right. Now I make sure all the layers are aligned in place. I make sure that the cooling fan wire is not obstructing anything. After I make sure everything's aligned in place, I start putting in the screws. The screws are what holds the case together. And now I can plug it in. Now I will plug it in to see if it works. Okay. And here you see it. The fan is spinning. It works quite well. The fan is very silent, which I really like. Okay, and that's how you install the Smraza Raspberry Pi 4B case. Thank you very much. Hi, I'm back. Okay, so now I've had my Raspberry Pi 4 running in the Smraza case for about 5 days now, and it's pretty good. I put the rubber foot pads at the bottom. The rubber foot pads come along with the case, and the fan is still silent, so I really like that. I think maybe one suggestion would be to have some kind of a mesh cover over the hole for the fan so that you don't put your finger on there easily. But overall, I'm really impressed with this case, and I would give it a score of 4.5 out of 5. Thank you very much.